Hello everyone, welcome back to Cause Streams TV. I'm your host, I am Cause, and this week has kind of been like a chill week. We've actually played a lot of alts. I ended up actually playing every single tank that I have, so we have a vault on all of them. Some tanks I played more than others, and the really cool thing is, and I'm excited about this, I did a 10 on my monk, a 10 cinder brew at 640 item level, and we ended up timing it. It was close, but we did time it. There was no wipes, so yeah, I'm really excited about that. Monk feels fantastic. I really do love Brewmaster. It's one of my favorite tanks in the game, and I love Windwalker. That whole monk class is my favorite, so no surprise that I was able to go into a 10 cinder brew meadery and time it successfully on the monk at a lower item level. On top of that, we will look at some of the new mounts we got this week. It's just the ones from the trading post, so that'll be a quick overview, and then we will recap how much gold we made this week. I actually thought it was much lower than what we did make, so that'll be kind of interesting to show you guys as well. So before we jump into any vaults, I'm going to do a quick recap of how the week looked. This is something new that I'm going to be doing every week, so you guys can see what our percentages were from the keys we did, what were the success rates, disbands, completions, etc. So here we are. So overall, since the start of season 1, we have done 88 keys total runs in Mythic Plus, 65 upgrades, 17 completions, and only 6 disbands. I feel like this is really good. These are really good numbers for the start of the season. And taking a look at week 3 specifically, it was the lower affix was tyrannical. I wanted to add that so I knew, like, if I'm doing lower keys and their disbands, which does happen in lower keys, I kind of wanted to add that in. But taking a look at it, we did 32 keys in total, keeping in mind this is a mix of keys from high keys on my Death Knight to lower keys on my alt tank, some of which are only like 612. You'll see that later. We have 27 upgrades, 2 completions, and only 3 disbands. Really good week. That means 84% of our keys last week were successful, 90% completion, and only a 15% depleted rate and 9% disbands. So overall, I think week 3 was a very good week, very successful. Just like week 2, we also did 20 keys with 0 disbands. So that is what I wanted to take a look at first at a very high level. From here, let's jump in and take a look at the Monk's Vault. So since we had the monk v-roll plan, I thought it would be good to just jump in and take a look at the monk. So here's the monk, 640 eye level, very few upgrades. Somewhere in here we did get a single upgrade. I can't remember what it was. Actually, I don't think I'm wearing it. We did get a belt. Oh, we got a trinket. That's right. We ended up getting a Mythic Track trinket for one of the Dark Flame clefts that we did, but we are going to open the vault in Windwalker spec. He has that 10, so I'm really excited to see what that looks like. And here we go. So we have a one-handed mace, and then we also have this Sephorium Pacemaker. Let me take a look at this, where this trinket actually sits in our loot pool. So after running a quick sim, funny enough, this trinket, when I replace either the Void Reaper's contract or the Remnant of Darkness, is an exact 10.4 or 10.6k DPS increase, so it doesn't really matter which trinket I replace. Both will kind of have the same result. And Remnant of Darkness is just slightly above Void Reaper's contract. We will take the Sephorium trinket and replace the Void Reaper contract. So, I mean, not the greatest trinket, but it is an upgrade on the monk in the Mythic Track vault slot. So I am at least excited about that, bringing us up to 641 item level. All right, next up, however, I do want to talk about the Death Knight. So as my main, we did focus on getting him more gear, getting him some IO, and let's take a look at what that looks like this week. So in regards to item level, we started at 653.5, and we finished week 3 at 656.94. So we did get some minor gear upgrades. For example, we did end up getting the neck from Dark Flame Cleft, and this is the one that we're using for Mythic Plus when we run Deathbringer. I do need to start playing some Sandlane and keys though, as the damage is actually higher, so I need to start learning that, but I did get the neck for the time being, so I can continue running Deathbringer. With that, we ended up going to Mechagon. We tried our first 12, actually. This is kind of cool. We did go into a 12 Mechagon workshop. It wasn't successful. I walked into that first pack. It started off good, but it hit a lot harder than I had expected, so we did end up wiping, but all the detonations went off, so that was a bonus. And at the end of that key, we did get the headpiece that we have here, so that was a significant upgrade because we were still running a 639 from last season. Just before raid on Thursday, we ended up getting the Sephorium Peacemaker as well, the same trinket we just got on our monk. So that was a huge upgrade over what we had. This was about a 26k DPS increase. And then we also got the Mythic Belt from Cauldron of Carnage. This is during raid. So yeah, we did get a crit burst belt. So a few upgrades bringing us up to 656.94. Very happy with that on the Death Knight. Now let's take a quick look how my Mythic Plus score has changed, and we do have some significant points to talk about here. We are up to 2601. That is 141 points. We started week 3 at 2,460, and we are finishing at 2601. So a total of 140 points. Some of the 10s we did was Priory, Motherlode, Floodgate, Cinderbrew, and another 11 Rookery. All of these gave us points, all of which accumulated into that 140. So the only 10 now that I need that isn't timed is a Theater of Pain, which we will focus on this week. Get RA up a little higher and see what we can. I'll try to aim to getting the 10 in Theater of Pain and then 11s in some of the other keys and see how that works. I did try an 11 Priory. I made a few mistakes in my pulls. You can see that on stream if you were watching on Sunday. We ended up going back and doing the 10 and it was fine, but two chesting it. So definitely some improvements there, and we will work on that this week. But that's where the Death Knight is in regards to his IO. And let's jump into the game and take a look at what we get in our vault. The vault this week will have the 1 Mythic Raid slot, 2 Heroic slots, and 3 Mythic 10 vault slots. So I'm excited to see what his vault looks like. All right, jumping in, we have from our Mythic Track Raid slot, we have the Boots Haste Mastery, which would be fantastic for Unholy if we do choose to play that. We have the Crit Haste Wrist Heavy Haste. Again, this would be good if I'm going for secondary stats. And then we also have the Two-Handed Weapon. Rolling down to our Mythic Vault slots, we have the Big Red Button Trinket, Remnant of Darkness Trinket, and Cujo's Flame Vents. We have 3. Oh, dear God. So all 3 of these trinkets would sim lower than what we currently have. I'm so disappointed that I got 3 trinkets in my Mythic Plus vault track. Like, this is probably the worst I've seen in a while. We're already so heavy on mastery that these boots are actually not what we want to take. So even though I'm very disappointed in my vault this week, I'm going to just take the weapon. The weapon is about 100k DPS increase in its current state. And then if I upgrade it to 6 hero, it is 125k DPS increase, and then if I can get a best in slots, it'll still give me about another 7k. So we'll take the weapon. It's not an absolute loss. It's better than the feat for sure. This is probably the worst thing I've ever seen. Getting 3 trinkets in the Mythic track and none of them being viable is just, it feels really bad. Like, I feel like this shouldn't be a thing. But hey, here we are. So we'll take the weapon, we'll upgrade it to 6 of 6, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But boy, is this is a feels bad. All right, so let's see if we can improve on what we just got out of our Death Knight's vault with our Vengeance Demon Hunter. He should have, I think, like a raid LFR and a key done. Yeah, that is the case. So we've got a Hero Track headpiece where we already last week ended up getting the tier headpiece. And then looking at LFR, we do have the tier legs. And we also have a fist weapon. So I think for now I'm going to take the fist weapon because we can probably catalyze a couple like Hero Track pieces later when we get them out of keys, because she is doing 7s. That's what we're going to take. We're going to take with fist weapon. That replaces our one-hander and brings us up to 632.56. So I'll be working on the DH a little more. She is fun to play. I did change around my keybinds, and I've been having issues with that. But yeah, so that's where the DH is at. Let's take a look at our next vault. And next up, we have our Protection Paladin. I'm just going to open it in prot spec. We may get a weapon or a shield, and we got one of those last week. So let's see kind of how this looks. And the verdict, we have a significant upgrade to our back in a Hero Track back piece, Crit Mastery, Tier Hands from LFR, and another back piece. So we're going to take the Hero Track piece because we can most likely get Hero out of keys and catalyze it. And the Pally is sitting at 621.94. Next up, we have our Warrior. Warrior actually felt fine doing some of the lower keys, but I mean, he is extremely under geared. I'll show you guys the level in a minute. I mean, we got the Remnant of Darkness. This is the 3rd time I've seen this trinket. My monk also got it when running Dark Flame Cleft. So yeah, this is kind of brutal. This trinket seems to be showing up all over the place. We're gonna take it anyway, just because it is an increase over what we have today, and we want the stats out of it. And yeah, it brings us up to 620 on the Warrior. As we can see, most of the tanks are fairly under geared. And last up, we have the Guardian Druid. I really enjoyed playing Guardian Druid. It felt really good. It almost felt unkillable. There was a few little scary moments that I had, but overall, the Druid felt really, really good. I think I'm going to get this one up to at least 2k to start and see how it feels, start getting some items. But this may be the first tank I work on to get through the 0 to 2500 challenge that I've been thinking of doing on all the tanks. Taking a look at what we get in our vault, we do have a trinket, Cinderbrew Stein, and then we also have another trinket. What is up with trinkets today? Oh my god. So just at a pure eye level, I guess I'll take the Stein. Both of these trinkets are kind of crap, so I don't know what's been going on, but every single one of my tanks has got a trinket. This has been an extremely frustrating vault week. I am not happy with how this worked out at all. But hey, you know what? We've got like a defensive trinket on the Druid now, so I'll keep pushing him. He is actually my lowest iLvL Druid, but was the most fun to play. 616, he's getting invited to keys, which is kind of funny, like 2s and 3s, which is totally expected. So I'll probably work on him a little more, get him some more gear, but my goodness, what a terrible week for vaults. I'm so sorry you guys had to watch that, because that is just pathetic. There was nothing exciting at all. Like, oh my goodness, this loot pool in these, oh my goodness, this loot pool in these, oh my goodness, this loot pool in these dungeons are so bad. I wish Blizzard would think about this before releasing these type of loot pools. Or let's talk about week 4. Let's forget about week 3. Let's talk about week 4. So in week 4, I am definitely planning on pushing IO on the Death Knight. We now are required to have 3 Mythic Plus vault slots of 10 or higher, so that's something I will have to work on. Couldn't be bad. 10s actually feel pretty easy right now in the DK. The keys in general this season feel pretty good, so I will focus on that. We'll get that Theater of Pain 10 done and a few 11s and see kind of how that feels. We'll do some of that on stream and off stream. I will keep playing my alt tanks. Like I said, I think the Druid is going to be the one I put a little more time into and get it a little more geared. It just felt the funnest to play. I want to see what does it really feel like when I get some more haste and some more secondary stats. And overall, my idea here is that what I'd like to do is over time get all of the tanks up to 2500 and maybe release like a video kind of outlining their strengths and weaknesses, going from, you know, from lower keys at 2 to the 7 range, 7 to 10, and 10 and higher, and how do those feels. 2500 is 10s across the board and maybe a couple 11s, so I think that's doable on the tanks. It does mean I'll have to commit some time to each of these, which I need to be mindful of because I do also have raid. And then out of all the tanks I played last week, obviously Monk was just the most fun. It's always been the most fun spec for me, and it still feels good. It's doing damage, it's surviving, it's easy to kite because you roll away, drop ring a piece, and keep going. Even then, if you're getting hit by mobs that really do a lot of damage, it wasn't too bad. So that is the plan for week 4. We're going to continue what we're doing. I have released a whole bunch of video for you guys in raid boss kills. I'm hoping to get some more this coming week. I probably won't have the first raid kill of Styx, and I have no idea what it's going to look like for Sprocket Mongers. So I'll keep you guys posted, but you will see me definitely pushing a lot of IO on our tanks and gearing those. And quickly, let's jump in and talk about the 3 mounts we got this week. All 3 were from the trading post. I didn't even know that the 3rd one was there. I thought there was only 2. So starting off first is the Pearlescent Butterfly. Surprisingly, I really like this mount. It looks really good, like the colors. And funny enough, on this priest with the white transmog, it looks great. So this is the first mount we got out of the trading post. The second mount we got is the Ruby Butterfly, basically just a reskin of the Pearlescent in red. Again, I really like red, so this kind of works for me. I have favorited it. And then the third and final mount we got is the Shimmer Mist Freerunner, which is funny enough, I'm surprised they made this a flying mount because it's just a horse with no wings. It kind of reminds me of the Lucid Nightmare mount that I still don't have. But so yeah, this is the third mount we got from the trading post, and I didn't even know that it was a mount that you could get. So it kind of surprised me when I found out I had to buy 3 of them. And then the very last thing we're going to touch on is basically the gold farming update for this week. I thought it was going to be a very light week, but I did collect all of our gold, and this week we ended up making 178,581 gold. Not bad overall. I actually thought it would have been much lower. Again, we haven't really been farming much items or mats or resources. All I've been doing is kind of reposting the items that I have regularly, and we seem to still be selling stuff. So yeah, that is not a bad increase week over week, keeping in mind that our goal is 100,000 a week. Anything over that is a bonus, and then we can afford the WoW tokens to continue funding that second account to farm and sell auctions while we are raiding. And so just a quick final recap on week 3. We did do, the guild is now 3 out of 8 mythic. We have Rick Reverb down. The video was posted if you guys want to take a look at that. We did our heroic kill once again. We have gone in and started Styx Bunk Junker. They got it down to 33%, so I feel like that boss is going to die very quickly. It just seems as if it is getting nuked, and the health percentage is so low that it seems that it's going to be like a 5 or 6 minute fight. So really excited for the guild to get that down. Week 4 will have a lot of me mostly just doing Mythic Plus. I don't know whether I'll be in on Thursday after we clear the first 3. Most likely not, because it doesn't make sense to bring in a new tank when you've already had 2 tanks progressing the boss. So that just means on Thursday we'll probably be doing a lot of keys on stream, and then I will figure out how I want to plan out the 0 to 2500 IO challenge for all of my tanks. So you'll see that coming in the near future. So I hope the vault was way better for you guys than it was for me. I really feel like this week was just a trinket kind of week. Very disappointing that every single one of my tanks basically got a trinket. I've never seen something like that before. So I really do hope you guys have had a much better week than I have when it comes to your vaults. Have a fantastic week. I'm going to go blast some keys before we raid and get ready to do a full heroic clear and some mythic bosses. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a fantastic week. Peace out, everybody.